Who do we have today? It's me, the Chad, and Big D. And man, oh man, we got a big one. It's the one, the only, the Mountie. How's it going, Mr. Jack?
How are you? How are you guys?
Good.
The Chad.
The Chad.
Big D.
That's me. Yes.
Big D.
Rassle This.
All right.
So,
how you guys doing?
We're doing very well.
Doing well now.
Appreciate you guys coming down here to help out the Chinlock students today. It's going to be a great day for them, and I look forward to seeing what you have to offer.
Well, I hope they don't have much expectation. but it's going to be fun, and I'm so happy to come and see my friend KL. He's a man. Like, he's been the man since last year, and I took a liking in this guy, and I love what he does, at school and helping the youngsters, and he's just an amazing kind of guy.
Amazing guy, and right now he's a tag team champion.
Is he really?
He is. He's Chinlock and Mike tag champion.
So I may be able to give him a few pointers and tag
That's what I'm talking about. Right there.
Okay, very
Right
good.
there.
Very good.
What do you got? You got some questions for the big man? What's going on?
Yeah, well, right away, Jacques, tell us about your wrestling school, Luke Wrestling Academy.
Well, my wrestling school is closed. I don't have a wrestling school anymore.
Oh, okay.
But I have a competition that's called Wrestling Academy.
Oh, okay.
And what I did is a couple of years ago, I just started recruiting talent from all over Canada.
Yeah.
And we made a reality show where this reality show actually came from a French TV show with singers. It was called Star Academy.
Okay.
And it's so funny because during the COVID, like everybody else, we're looking for something to do. So my son and I, we started a podcast.
Yep.
So out of the podcast, I was invited people like different disciplines, like hockey players, singers, a boxer, Josh St. Pierre. I had a bunch of my friends that I met over the years that I had them come to my podcast.
Okay.
And one day I got this girl. She's called Marie-Hélène Sibert, and she's the winner of this contest, Star Academy. So Star Academy was pretty much the principle of they were inviting all the singers from the province of Quebec, and week after week on TV they'd eliminate some, and some would stay till the end, and the big winner would go to sing at the Bell Center with Celine Dion.
Oh, wow.
So that was the big contest.
Yeah. That's amazing.
So one day she's in my podcast and she's telling me all this, and I'm saying to myself, after she left, I looked at my girlfriend and I said, why don't we do that with wrestling? That would be awesome, And that's where the idea came from.
Okay.
So then I said, well, to draw the attention of all the wrestlers across Canada, we have to have good prices.
Yes.
So I called a few of my friends and I said, hey, I need some money, I need to make a contest worthwhile, So we finally had 4 winners of $5,000.
Oh, wow.
And so it was not too bad. A lot of the guys, they make 100, 150 a night, working in the indies, So 5,000, I'm thinking after working 3 times could be fun.
Yeah.
Plus the visibility is really good. But then I said to my girlfriend, I said, we got to find something better. So out of nowhere, I had a contact with this guy that I didn't even know, QT Marshall in Atlanta.
Oh, yeah.
And the Nightmare Factory.
Yeah.
And with Cody Rhodes and Billy Gunn. And so I don't know these guys. So
Did you know that Cody Rhodes is Dusty Rhodes?
Yeah. So now I know. So, but I didn't know at all at the time because there was another one of his sons that wrestled.
Dusty.
Exactly. So anyway, long story short, I get the contact. So I called QT Marshall in Atlanta. I said, Mr. Marshall, I said, my name is Jacques Rougeau. He says, well, I know you, Jacques. He said, I used to watch you when I was young. I said, okay. I said, so I said to myself, well, that's good. He recognized me.
Yeah, exactly.
So I said, listen, I have this contest, and I'd like to put a contest together where I'm going to have 4 winners. I'm going to eliminate them during this competition. And at the end, they're going to win $5,000. But what I'd like to do is take my 4 winners, and I'd like to rent a truck, get a limousine or something.
Yeah.
And not a limousine like a superstar, but like a little van.
Yeah.
And I'd like to take all of my 4 winners to Atlanta, Georgia, 24-hour drive.
Oh.
I'd like to take them over for the weekend.
Yeah.
And I would like for you guys to take them in like they were superstars and just evaluate them. Like, look at them in the ring, look at their promos, and just give them some advice. I said, is something you could do? Is that something we could do? He says, sure thing, Jacques, let's do that. So here's the funniest thing. I got to tell you the funniest thing. That's 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So I got a little bit of notoriety. So I start calling all my friends in Australia, in England,
Oh, wow.
Liverpool, New York, everywhere that had podcasts.
Yeah.
And then since I was like 10 years in the big leagues, you know, I met a lot of friends.
Yeah.
So I told them, I said, hey, I said, would you guys mind doing a podcast? And we're going to make this thing big.
Yeah.
You know, got to think big, you know. So we start talking. So the next thing you know, I've been doing this podcast for about 3 months. And then I get a call from QT Marshall.
Yeah.
He says to me, he sends me a message, says, Jacques, I got to speak with you. And I go, oh shit, did I do something wrong, you know? And the next thing you know, he says to me, so I call him and then he says, Jacques, he says, what are you doing? I says, well, what do you mean? He says, my phone here at the Nightmare Factory is red. He says, I'm getting calls from all over the place, all over the world. People are asking, hey, is it true? The haters give him calling. Hey, Jacques Rougeau's using your name. Hey, this and that. Is this true? And he was saying, yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's true. So next thing you know, he says, Jacques, he says, you're doing such a great job in publicity for the Nightmare Factory. Why don't we give your winners, he says, a week instead of 1 day?
Oh, wow.
So I went berserk. So I had a group chat that I did with all the wrestlers, you know, that were participating.
Yeah.
So I write that down. Hey, guys, guess what? So I said, well, I asked QT, I said, do you mind doing a video and saying that? Because they won't believe me, you know.
Of course.
So he said a video, so I put it on my group chat. So next thing you know, 3 months goes by. And then I'm just blasting him all over a podcast around the world. I did about 40 podcasts in the first year.
Oh,
and it's a Nightmare Factory, Atlanta Nightmare. What a great school. What a great this. What a great. So next, so he writes me. So one day, I'm fixing to do a podcast with Nick Drosis in Montreal. He's a pretty big podcaster.
Okay.
So I tell him, I said, hey, I said, QT, I said, there's a lot of haters out there that are attacking me and my project, and they're questioning the week instead of a day there. You know, I said, would you mind just sending a video in to confirm this?
Yeah.
So he says, sure thing. So he writes, he sends the video in. So I'm on the podcast, and then so he plays the video, and then he says, well, just to say, you heard it from the horse's mouth.
Yeah.
He says, the 4 winners of Wrestling Academy are going to come to Atlanta, and they're going to spend 3 months at the Nightmare Factory. And I went, wow. I'm on the air. I went like, yeah. I said, did you hear that? I said, play that back. And so he decided to give 3 months training to the 4 winners. So we became his little pet project.
Oh, okay. Right.
You know,
so that's how.
And then as we got closer to the elimination and stuff like that near the finals, he's into this, man. He said, Jacques, he said, why don't you tell your winners that they're gonna wrestle on their Canadian debut in Toronto in the AEW Rampage and Dynamite. I'm gonna use your 4 winners.
Oh, wow.
So the first show they ever did in Canada, the first match, Jeremy Prophet and Jessica Black, the winners of Quebec, and then there was I'm trying to think, Chris Dillon and Matt Black from Ontario.
Yeah.
So they all wrestled, and then he said the day before, because Whip said, Jacques, why don't you put 2 more in there?
Oh.
So I put Vince Farrago, Jesse B,
Yeah.
and then Chantal from New Brunswick. So we had 6 people that came, and if you go in the record book, the first show, the first match I ever had is with Wrestling Academy.
Wow. Go ahead.
So this is the fun part. So now I go down in the fall, I go to check out how they're doing. They're at the Nightmare Factory and all
Yes.
this. So the next day of the competition's over with last year, the next day, he calls me up, he says, did you enjoy this? You know, I said, yeah, because you got to remember on the last day of the show, when the 4 winners appeared, QT Marshall was on the giant screen at the Club Soda in Montreal live from Atlanta.
Yeah.
And he's the one who was choosing the winners.
Oh, okay.
But all the semifinals and quarterfinals, I'm the one with my 2 judges that chose.
Nice. Yeah.
So, but the finals, it was him. So then the next day I called him after the event. I said, QT, how did you like the thing? And all this, and he said, I loved it. So QT tells me, so are we doing this again next year? Oh, nice. I was freaking out. I said, man, this is too good. So then I said, okay. I said, for sure, yeah, for sure. So I found 3 sponsors this year for $10,000.
Oh.
So now the 3 winners have won $10,000. And then QT.
How do we want?
And then QT Marshall says to me, he says, Jacques, there's only one thing I want to change, he said, next year. He says, I want to be there to choose the participants because we had like 70 inscriptions.
Yeah.
I'm the one who took care of all that last
Yeah.
year.
Oh, wow.
He says, I want to be there for the inscriptions when you come to the Nightmare Factory. We'll do that together.
Okay.
And he says, I want to be there on the giant screen for the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and the finals.
That's amazing.
So then I'm going like, wow. So I tell that to all the group chat and everything. And next thing you know, QT says, Jacques, he said, we got to give him a bonus this year.
Yes.
So out of all the people that have been eliminated, hopefully it'll be KL. But out of all the people who were eliminated,
Yeah.
he's gonna QT Marshall this year in the finals on the 17th of September. He's gonna come live to Montreal instead of being on the giant screen, and he's gonna wrestle with someone that he eliminated.
Oh, okay.
That's
Nice.
So that's what I'm hoping it's gonna be KL.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
So isn't this marvelous?
Yeah.
So
That's
this,
amazing.
So this project is like now it's gone, it's taken off, and
Wow.
so the 20th of August coming up is the semifinals, and then after that it's the finals on the 17th of September, and I'm pretty excited about all this.
No, wow. I mean, that's,
Did I answer your question?
Yeah. I think so.
and I agree.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know,
That's amazing.
I mean, 'cause what we do is we feature a lot of, like, we're trying to feature the independents, and like, this is just going along with what we love, right? Because you're giving the opportunity to somebody who's independent to, like, get their career going, give all the information they need.
You know, my dad-
give them the teachers that they have. And I mean, you come from a great wrestling family.
You know,
So it's
Big
just-
Chad, my dad used to tell me,
Chad.
you know, my dad used to tell me there's two ways you make it in this business. Two ways. The first way is being at the right place at the right time and knowing the right people.
Yeah.
And
Who you
this
know.
tournament, you're going 3 months at the Nightmare Factory. You're being trained by Billy Gunn Hall of Fame,
Yeah.
QT Marshall, Cody Rhodes from WWE. The other two are AEW.
Yeah, right.
So the two companies are watching the talent coming in there.
Oh.
So from then on, what I'm doing is like opening doors, and then it's up to you.
Yeah.
I'm just opening the doors. I can't get you any working papers. I can't get you any promises. But the only thing I can do is give it a little trampoline
Yep.
to put a foot in the door.
Right. For
And then
today's generation, that means ever.
for Canadians, especially
Yeah.
for Canadians, because Canadians have so much problem getting working visas, working papers to work in the States.
Right.
So now they're going 3 months, and they're always wrestling around the little cities around there. They're not supposed to, but they're
Yeah.
doing it. They're wrestling for federations. You know, they're getting to meet promoters. Just the other day, I stopped at the Nightmare Factory coming back because I'm a snowbird, so I came back this spring,
Uh-huh.
and I stopped there, and John Cena was there.
Oh, wow.
You know,
You can see him.
He was the guy in there. So what I'm saying is like they have a lot of spokesmen that go there, a lot of people that stop by. Jake the Snake was there at one time, and then so you see a lot of these old timers and a lot of these veterans. You know what? It's so funny because Jeremy Prophet, my winner of last year from Montreal, just about a month ago, they called him back and he wrestled on Collision against Will Hobbs. And then Will Hobbs, what's his name? The big black guy, Hobbs.
Hobbs, yeah.
And anyway, they're pushing the hell out of him. But they asked Jeremy to go do the job for him. So I'm telling Jeremy, don't miss this. Now, don't miss this. The chance because they're going to see you again. They saw you on the Thursday they came to Canada,
Yeah.
Rampage on it, but now they're going to see you again and they're calling you back.
Yeah.
So that's good. But I said, whatever they ask you, if they ask you to jump, you ask them how high.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing was, is like, I'm telling him, I said, listen, it may not be the biggest TV and stuff like that, but you know, you're on dark, you know, and they're gonna see some. Next thing you know is I'm watching the show. It's the first show I watch in 35 years of wrestling.
You don't watch wrestling?
I don't watch wrestling at all.
Wow.
35 years I haven't watched a show, not one. So this is the first show that I'm watching. Jeremy told me, and so I see that he could be on it, but he told me, he said, "I'm not sure. You know, I don't want to promise you nothing."
Yeah.
So I just watched it just for the fun of it.
Yeah.
So the first match goes by, and then it's a pretty good match. Then second match, oh, it's an even better match. And third match, and then after the third match, I told my girlfriend, I said, "He's not going to be on. This is getting too heavy now. Like, they're going into the main events now. There's like 6 matches.
Right.
I think. Next thing you know, in the 5th match, who shows up on the TV? It's Jeremy.
Wow.
And what a job he did for Hobbs. I mean, everybody thought he got killed. He did such a great job for him.
Yeah.
And then when he walked back to the dressing room, on the way back, he crossed Tony Khan.
Oh,
and then he crossed Tony Khan, and he said like this. He said he stopped by, and Jeremy's a go-getter. Jeremy just stopped by, and he put his hand out to Tony Khan.
Yeah.
He says, "Thank you for the opportunity." And then Tony Khan said, "Great job." Gave him a little chop. Great job. So, and I swear to God, it was my first show that I watched.
Yeah.
And when I saw the match and I saw Hobbs, the way he looked,
Yeah.
I said, man, they're gonna give him a push, man. But you know what? I've always said that also. To create Batman, you need a good Joker.
Oh, yeah.
And if you
100%.
don't, to create a great baby face, you need a better heel.
Oh,
You know?
yeah.
And Jeremy Prophet filled the shoes.
Wow.
And they all saw that.
Yeah.
So that's all because of Wrestling Academy.
That's amazing.
So you know, so I'm so proud, you know,
Yeah.
so happy of this thing going.
It must have felt like a dad when you watched
Yeah,
it.
that way.
Well, you know, it's so funny because Jeremy now he goes everywhere, podcasts, and says, I owe to Jacques. And I said,
Yeah.
I said, you don't owe me shit. I said, you don't owe me
Oh, no,
nothing.
where-
I said, you don't owe me nothing.
Yeah.
I said, you owe it to yourself.
Yeah.
You've been training for 16 years. You're the guy who doesn't go up nightclubs. You're in the gym 7 days a week. I said, you look good, you tan.
Yeah.
You go into the matches. You're at 3 o'clock in the afternoon for your 7 o'clock match. You're going over your match with your opponent. You're such a giver. You know, you're such a professional. And those are the guys who are going to make it.
Yeah.
It's not the guys that can't wait to see where they're going to go party after the show.
Right.
No, that's not long term.
No.
So
No,
Jeremy
no.
Prophet right now has an opportunity. And you know it's so funny because when I think of Jeremy Prophet, I think a lot of myself.
Oh,
I'll tell you,
okay.
tell you
Yeah.
why. Tell you why, guys.
Tell us why.
Because I had a lot of heat with the boys. You know, I had a lot of heat. They
Yeah.
just had a lot of heat with a lot of guys.
Yep.
Now, not for being like,
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. I'll tell
it's
you
one of the
why.
questions.
I'll tell you, really? I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I got a lot of heat. A little bit, like, I don't want to get away from the thing I wanted to say first about Jeremy.
Yeah.
Jeremy had a lot of heat too. Because Jeremy and I, we were the kind of guy that after the show, we're in bed. 7 in the morning, we're taking our flight, arriving at 10, 11, or wherever, what city, what town, what province, or what, wherever, and we're in the gym. And you know, at the building, we're there at 5:30. We're at 7 o'clock. Where everybody's got to be there. We're there at 5:30.
Right.
We're always there an hour early. We're always there on time. We're always dependable. We're always reliable. At 5 o'clock in the morning, a fan would come to see me. Jacques, can I have your autograph? Yes, sir. Let me have this thing. 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm still sleeping. I'll still sign your autograph.
Yeah.
You know, that's called dedication to the business. So when you have that kind of dedication, which I had, and Jeremy has, then when you see guys that are not so dedicated, you have a little less respect for them. So we gotta watch and not show them. You know,
Yes,
it's-
yes. Yep.
and that was one thing that Jeremy was his problem, the same as mine. You know what? There's black and there's white.
Yeah.
There ain't no gray. You know, and I wouldn't. That's why my brother's in politics and I'm not.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not good at that.
Mayor Rob.
And here's another reason why I had a lot of heat too. You're gonna like this one. So I'm sitting in the dressing room, and the guys are going over their booking sheets. We're on the road at the time, 25 days a month. So I'm on the road, and I'm looking at my booking sheet. Everybody's sitting in the dressing room, and then next thing, okay, so Vegas, Los Angeles, San Diego, Salt Lake City, Montreal. Oh, that fucking Montreal. That goddamn Quebec. That Canadian, goddamn Canada. Yeah, and they always, all the boys bad-mouth them, everybody.
Really?
They hate to come to Canada. Well,
Wow.
you didn't know that?
That's right.
Well, let me tell you why. Let me tell you why.
Tell us why.
Tell you why. First of all, they can't bring their drugs across. Second of all, they come here, you make $1,000, it's only worth $600. It was 40% less the money.
Okay, so it's the.
So all these things the boys said, it wasn't personal with Canadians. It wasn't personal with the fans. It was the situation. Like, you know, and everybody was on drugs pretty much at that time, and steroids or something. So here's the deal. We're not.
Yeah.
We're straight. Remember that.
Yeah.
And I like my home. So when I had this guy come up and say, that goddamn Canada. And I said, well, that goddamn United States.
Yeah.
Shit, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for me and you.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Right.
Because all the other boys are like, you know,
Yeah.
and I picked up a lot of heat with that.
Oh, okay.
And just so you guys know, I always defended my province and my town and my country. I always did.
And that's one thing I think with your character development always shows.
But you know, that's why it was so believable, my character.
True and true Canadian.
It was, that's why my character, even when I moved to Memphis as the Fabulous Rougeau brothers, we'd like to wish you a great Memorial Day when it was Independence Day. You know, and I was like, you know, we were just laughing at them.
Yeah.
And I was just getting into it, like, you know, but a lot of the boys, you know, they knew I was so good at laughing at them that it was heavy. Another time, Brutus the Berber Beefcake. He's in the dressing room. So he goes to see Pat Patterson, who's a great friend of ours, speaks French, and you know, and so he's also assistant booking with with Vince.
Yeah.
So he's very close in the office with Vince. So one day, Pat comes to see me in the dressing room. Says, Jacques, he says, do you mind guys not speaking French? You know, speak English, because you know the guys, you know, they kind of think that you're. You know, so I
Did you say Tyler?
Exactly. I said, Tabarnak, what do you mean? I said, go tell Tito Santino, Tito Santana to stop speaking Spanish to Pedro Morales. You know, I said, I don't understand what they're saying. I don't know. So then I picked out on the beefcake and I told them, you know, the way I was thinking.
Yeah.
See, here's the thing. A lot of people didn't know that about me. Normal people are here. Autistic people are here. I should be somewhere probably right there in the middle. I have a hard time comprehending things sometimes.
Okay.
Like I said, I don't have no brain in my life.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm lacking of diplomacy.
Yeah.
And I had a big mouth. I was like Shawn Michaels, you know, always sit when I had, you know, always sit on my mind. So I picked up a lot of ego stuff. Like the other day, I hear a podcast. If you guys want to see, you don't believe what I'm saying, go check out Bruce Pritchard's podcast he did not long ago on Jacques Rougeau. He did one like a month ago.
Yeah.
1 hour podcast on Jacques Rougeau. I haven't seen him in 35 years. So he's got a podcast for 1 hour on me.
Yeah.
Tells me about things, but he tells me how much I'm an asshole, how much I'm this, and how much Raymond's a nice guy, you know, and Raymond's a great guy. And,
Right.
And he's cutting me down. So then he's talking about the Canadians that are shits. And so he's really going out. And everything that I say, that I've been saying, he's proving that I was right.
Yeah.
You know, he's making me look good in this.
Yeah.
You know, and so the truth comes out. You know, it's because when they go on TV all the time, when they do this, they always protect their image.
Oh, of course.
But Bruce Pritchard killed himself on that podcast because he thought he was killing me. But
Yeah.
you know what, Bruce Pritchard? Let me tell you something. There's one thing I learned in my life. The minute you start cutting down someone, you're putting yourself down more.
For sure.
And so you got to remember that lesson, Bruce Pritchard. So just keep that in mind.
That's right.
So that's why everybody hates me.
Yeah.
That good enough?
Yeah.
Two more questions.
Yeah.
Well, I had a whole bunch, but we will.
Am I going too long with my answer?
No. I mean, you're kind of drunk.
Okay, we'll stick keep going.
Yeah. Okay.
You're talking.
Okay. So, obviously, you were in two main tag teams, the Fabulous Rougeau Brothers and the Quebecers. Can you tell us some of the differences of working with your brother Raymond as opposed to Pierre? Was there any kind of difference in Randy?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. When I worked with Carl, I was the old timer.
Oh, okay.
And so I was a guy who was taking less bumps.
Yes.
Carl was a crazy guy. He flips over the top on the cement floor and all that. And,
Yeah.
and plus Carl and I had a more aggressive kind of style of wrestling.
Yes.
The moves that we brought out, we were there to kill.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
Raymond and I, we were there to cheat.
Yeah.
You know, the Fabulous
And
Rougeau
look good.
Brothers,
And-
we always
Yeah.
did our
But look
stuff
good. Yeah.
behind the referee's back.
Yeah.
We were the best cheaters that could. Every time the referee turned around, we were, yes,
Yeah.
I got my rope.
Yeah.
I know, and it's like, and so much heat would come out of that. So that's where I specialize in tag team, because I had the chance to work an aggressive tag team partner, and the one that I liked the most was my brother Raymond.
Yeah.
Because it was just have Jimmy Hart as a manager.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, I have a Jimmy Hart question. What is his secret to not eating?
I don't know, but I got a Jimmy Hart answer for me.
Okay.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with your question.
Oh, okay.
But I gotta tell you this.
Of course. Yeah.
Jimmy Hart is the best manager in the business today, before and always. Now,
I agree.
let me explain to you why. A lot of people say, "Oh, of course, Jacques, you're going to say that. He was your manager in the Mountie. He was your manager in the Fabulous Rougeau Brothers."
Yep.
Well, let me tell you something about Jimmy Hart. Jimmy Hart was the only manager in the business, the only one that he'd get on an interview, the camera was on him, and he'd say, "Let me tell you something about my man here. Let me tell you something about him. While the others were all like, "Hey, I'm the brain, and I'm smart, and I'm this." Jimmy Hart never took the camera on him. He always made his guys shine. He'd always make suits for his guys.
Yes. Oh,
He always made music for a guy.
Yeah.
He never went out
Incredible.
nightclubs. He never went out nightclubs. He was always like me, on time. He was always there on time, so we had promos to do. He was always there, always on time. So professional, always nice to the kids, always nice to everybody in Ireland. Jimmy Hart is the best manager that any wrestler could have, and unless you had him, you don't know what I'm talking about. But once you had him, every time I take the microphone after Jimmy Hart would introduce me or present me, I feel so big and important. He made me feel so important, and him so nothing, so little. And he's still in Comic Cons. I meet him all the time. I do Comic Cons around the world. He's got lines 3 times bigger than mine.
Oh, no,
you know, people love Jimmy Hart. They love him to death. And you know why? Because we don't like heavy metal. We don't like rock and roll. All we like to listen to is Barry Manilow. And that's Jimmy Hart.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'll tell you another reason why. I'm handsome, I'm brave, I'm strong. On the Mountie. See what it is? That's Jimmy Hart. So, and the 2 best songs today, when you go in Comic Cons, the 2 best songs that people are in line and they start singing are my 2 songs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They're two iconic songs. So Jimmy Hart,
He wrote those.
yes. So he used to be for the Gentrys in the 50s and the 60s. He was a group on the charts.
Yeah.
You know, like Soul Train and all that stuff in the United States. He was everywhere.
Yeah,
So Jimmy Hart is the best manager of all time. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, I think so. 2 in 1, kind of. But I have a quick one for you. We're drunk. We're in Montreal. I need the best smoked meat sandwich. Go.
Schwartz.
Okay. Yep.
Schwartz smoked meat.
That's for our executive producer.
Schwartz. But that's not what I'm telling you about the best thing in Montreal.
No, tell us.
The best thing in Montreal was 1997 when I beat Hulk Hogan.
That's the first. Yes.
That's the best smoked meat. Yeah. That's the best.
Yeah. So there was no control. You just division. That was for
Small package. No chairs, no gimmick. I'm the only Canadian to ever beat Hulk Hogan.
Wow. That's right. So, actually, one of our viewers, William Rashad from Tweet, he wants to know, tell us your memories about beating Hulk Hogan.
It's bigger than life. It's bigger than life because when I organized that match, it was the Battle of the Legends. The Quebec legend against the world legend. And so that's just to show you the scale of how it was.
Yeah.
You know, and when he came in there, he just in front of everybody, it was my show. I booked that show for WCW. I'm the one who opened the doors for WCW to come in. I had the contact for the Motion Center. I had the contact with the TV station. I got the TV station with Cookie Lazarus, a big time lord in Montreal. So I had that contact for him. So I brought him in. But the condition was that I wrestled Hulk Hogan. That was my dream. Everybody's dream.
Oh, yeah.
And then he got in the dressing room for all the boys. I didn't know this. Again, for all the boys, night of the show. He says, well, brother, he says, what are we doing tonight? I started laughing. What are we doing tonight?
Yeah.
Well, whatever you want, sir.
Yeah.
You know, he says, no. He says, it's your show. He says, how are you beating me? And then I started laughing. I even remember having a snot come out of my nose because it was one of those laughs that was so unexpected. And then I laughed, and then I was laughing by myself because nobody else was laughing. And then he was like looking at me. He said, "I'm serious, brother. He says, tonight's your night. He says, I'm putting you over." So I said, "Really?" And I kept laughing. I said, "Really? That's funny, Hulk."
Was there ever talk?
I said, "That's very."
Give him more like.
No. But I said, "That's very funny, Hulk. That's very funny."
Yeah.
And then next thing he says, "No, I'm serious, brother." And then I start realizing he was serious.
Wow.
So I said to myself, I said, "Well, if that's really what you want to do," I said, "I want you to beat me really bad." And I said, at the end, like a small package, you'd surprise you. You know, this is a small package.
Yeah.
You know, and then he says, "Let's do that." And then after, through the grapevine and through things and that and this and that, I found out why he didn't. I always thought it was because of the Rougeau family. He had a lot of respect for the family. We're 4 generations of wrestlers.
Right.
And I always thought my great uncle, my father, my uncle, my brothers, my sons, and he had a lot of respect for us.
Yeah.
But he never thought, and I swear to God, I'm not bragging on this,
Yeah.
but he never thought someone was going to stand up to the Bulldogs. And when I stood up to Dynamite Kid, I stood up to him, and it was the most horrible time of my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I stood up to him, Hulk lost a lot of friends before that in the dressing room that got ribbed and quit, and got a lot of friends.
Wow.
And so I even saw Hunky Tonk Man cry in the dressing room one night. I seen Outback Jack, the guy with the crocodile in his back.
Yeah.
He got his hair shaved by the Bulldogs and in a bar. Like they halcyoned him and they filled him. So they heard a lot of guys, business and characters and friends at home, I think.
Yeah.
So when I stood up for myself,
Yeah.
I think Hulk got a lot of respect for me.
And you wanted
And he wanted to return the favor.
Oh, wow.
That's what I think. It's never proven yet.
Yeah.
But through the grapevine.
We'll call him. Yeah.
But that's what I honestly heard through the grapevine from a serious person
Wow.
that didn't want me to mention that. But
No,
so
it's
so it is amazing because the truth is, I'm not a fighter. I'm not a tough guy. I'm not. I'm an artiste. I'm a wrestler because it's fake.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, that's what I am. But my brother Raymond's a tough guy. My father was a tough guy.
Yeah.
They were the mean son of a guns.
Yeah.
I was just a loudmouth. You know?
Yeah. Guitar.
And so for me to do what I did, it took so much, guys. You have no idea. Like when I got beat up the first time in the dressing room, he beat me up in front of all the boys. Then it's a week later, I did my comeback.
Yeah.
And that whole week, I was thinking that the Rougeau name was going down the drain. Like, you know, they all thought we were going to quit, go home, and quit the business because of the Bulldogs, like the others did.
Yeah.
You know, leave with the tail between the legs and go home. And I didn't want that for my father because my father was my hero.
Yeah.
And I didn't want that. So I did what I had to do. And I swear to God, till today, I swear to God, I don't know where I found the courage to do it. Because I'm a chicken shit, you know. But I felt like something I had to do. And the funniest thing is 25, 30 years later, there I am still giving conferences in schools against bullying.
Right.
And helping the kids for 25 years now, talking in front of 600, 700, 800 kids,
Yeah.
and showing them that you could beat bullying without using violence.
Yeah.
There's ways to do it. And I'm being rewarded today, like every father or every kid that I talk to, they're coming up to me and they're thanking me. And you may not believe when I'm going to tell you this. It's not a lot, but in 25 years, I could honestly say to parents that I saved 3 kids. Now, you're going to say it's not a lot, 3 kids, until it's yours. You know, and they came to me and explained to me how I changed the lives of 3 kids
Wow.
that were like suicidal or depressed or wanted to finish it off with.
Yeah.
And I made an impact in the school.
Wow.
So what a reward to get.
For sure.
So I always tell the people that are being bullied today, like, listen, there's only one solution to bullying. There's only one. Speak up. Just get it out of you. Because the minute you tell your teacher, your principal, your family, the police, you'll never have problems with it. The problem is to make that step because you're always afraid of your bully. So you're getting bullied now and you're in a dark cloud and you're thinking if I stooge on him, if I stool him, it's going to be 2 times worse. I can't do it. It's not true. It's twice as better. It's 3 times. It's 1,000 times better. Because since then, since I did what I did, I became the Intercontinental Champion. I became tag team champion of the world 3 times.
3 times.
Before, because one with my brother Raymond, that you
Right.
don't know about.
Yeah.
Close.
Oh, no, I know
Yeah.
that. I knew that.
And I beat Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
And there were so many things that happened in my life because I stood up to bullying. So I'm telling you kids out there, I'm telling all you friends, you grown-ups, at work, anywhere you're facing bullying, bring it out. Put it on the table. And don't worry about what's going to happen after because 100 times out of 100, nothing happens. It's just to make that move. And that's the biggest part about it.
Wow. Great words from you.
Yeah.
So again, Mountie Jacques Rougeau, thank you very much. We really appreciate you coming here, coming down to 10 Lock.
Big Chad, thank you so much.
Yeah, it's the chat, Big D.
Well, it's Big D, Little Chad.
Little chat.
Big Chad. Thank you, Big
Well
D.
done. Yes, thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Rassle This, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
here we
Thank
go.
you.
Man, oh man, what a great day. Former Intercontinental Champion, Tag Team Champion, and the Mountain.
Follow WrestlingAcademy.ca, wrestling-academy.ca for the competition.
We'll have
It's
links.
all over the world.
Yeah, all links will be
We'll
on the
have links
bottom. And good luck to Kale Shaw.
Yes.
Yes.
Against QT Marshall on the 17th of September.
Or maybe he beats up Jack.
That's right.
No.
There we go. If you can't wrestle each other,
Rassle This!
Dig it!
see you next time.
Well, let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready. I'm waiting for you.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Clear.